Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
I'm going to record on my computer. I don't even know how we should introduce this podcast. Welcome to an episode of Programmatic Digest podcast. I am your host, and you are your host.
Exactly.
I'm
We're
not even
both
going to cut this
hosts.
off. We're both hosts of the Programmatic Digest podcast. All right, let's do it. Welcome to another episode of the Programmatic Digest podcast. I am your host, Hélène Parker.
And I'm your host, Manuela Cortez.
Yay! We've never done a podcast together officially unless it was like an interview. But after a couple years working together on and off projects, after you doing some dope Spanish podcast, I don't understand them, but I'm like, sometimes I listen to them and I'm like just looking at y'all's energy and like your dynamic. And I'm like, I really wish I understood what they were talking about. Like, it's so fun. I wanted to interview you on this podcast, Manuela, to hear all about your experience about being a host on the Programmatic Digest podcast. So are you ready for this?
Yes, I'm so ready and I'm really excited. Like when you brought the idea to me, I was like, of course we have to do this because I love listening to your episodes as well. And like I just hope that by this time, I was hoping by this time that you have learned some Spanish of all the episodes we've watched. It's
Note to
similar to
self.
French.
You know, you're more fluent in French than I am fluent in Spanish, I think. I think you
Yes.
beat me on that. So next time we talk, which is September. So the next time, because I can't promise before September, but the next time we see each other, maybe I'll have more Spanish down pat. But the interesting thing is that when I hear Spanish, because I'm almost trilingual, like I can, like when I read it, I'm like, okay, I think they're asking for the bathroom. I know where that is, and I know how to say it enough. But like full professional, don't, I can't do that yet.
I get it. No, I get it. But like this is a great segue to speak about like languages and how like the new episodes started coming. So it's been already a couple of years and I think like my experience so far doing the podcast it's been very positive and I have to say life changing because it feels really good to be able to bring a voice to how the ad tech is being shaped by the leaders in Latin America. So I guess in English in general, like we have podcasts, we have a lot of podcasts in the US, in the UK, in Europe, but there's not that many. I would dare to say like maybe we are the only ones doing it in Spanish. I'm not 100% sure, but like it's not as popular. And so it feels really amazing to me to be able to bring people to speak about it. So like, like we're always admiring people from the US. Of course, this is like our northern star in terms of like trends and like what programmatic is doing. But I think it's really refreshing for people to hear people on their own, like on their leaders on their own language, speaking about companies they've built here. And that's actually one of the most common comments that people have. Like I have people messaging me on LinkedIn like, hey, I listened to this episode, it was really good, thank you so much for doing this. And I'm like, oh, I thought no one was listening.
Oh no, I can tell people are listening or downloading because when we look at Libsyn, which is the media host platform we use, I can see that the Spanish episode rivals some of my best listening episodes or my best downloaded episode. And right now, I haven't checked our numbers, but I know for a fact that maybe in 2020, end of 2024, 2025, we were getting close to 2,500 downloads a month. Right now, we're probably lower because I haven't been consistent with the English part, as well as the Spanish part. We've just been busy, y'all. If you're listening and watching us, we sorry. That's why we're having this, is to let you know that we appreciate you, we love you. But likewise, I still think that having a podcast is the best decision I've ever made. And having you as a co-host is one of the second best decision, because it just gives a different perspective to the listeners and they get to hear somebody else. And I agree, we need to do more Spanish speaking content. to start with, and I've tried to translate from like using the AI tools, but then I'm like, I don't want to disrespect the community. If I'm posting something on Spanish and then they're like, well, what is this? I don't want to be disrespectful like this. So we can't afford a
No,
translator yet. You know what I mean? Like, not yet, at least.
no, I get it, and I appreciate it so much. And I also wanted to get your perspective because you've been doing this for a while now, and like I wanted to understand, like for you, how has been your experience podcasting? Have you seen like a change in general on your career, on even yourself? I think that's a great question.
I want to say it's weird to be on the other on the seat on that seat of the being questioned. I want to say yes. I have had professionally people walk up to me and be like, "Yo, I heard your podcast. I love this, 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 this." I've even had people at conferences that shall remain nameless, and they're still a very good friend of mine that walked up to me and have said many times, like, "You've said that. That was not correct." I had 2 people say that to me in a conference, because they didn't agree, like, with my perspective or they didn't agree about something I said. But, one of those conversation has led me and pushed me to get closer to the sell side and the publisher side, which that's more of something like that's your background. You've done both demand buy side and sell side, but I've predominantly only done buy side. And so some of them, I was a publisher at that time, walked up to me and say, this is not correct. We have a whole industry on the sell side trying to please advertisers and brands demand, and we're still not winning. And so it pushed me to learn more. And that's when I got closer to the Ad Monster team at that time and the Beeler Tech team. And now, with your guidance, I've been able to like know more about, oh, yo, there's a whole side to this equation, and they are very important, right? Publishers are very important, the buy side, for the buy side. So in terms of professional impact, yes, people. I feel like people recognize me in some instances, but also like I'm in sales with Influent and Media Math now. Like in conversation, I've used the podcast to really refocus on, I'm not just another salesperson. If I reached out to you, I know I can help you, and this is why. you know. I've also used it to make more network, like to increase my networking. So like, do you want to be a podcast guest? Most of the time they say yes, but they don't follow through, which we're going to talk about following through, especially for female guest speakers. But it has had impact. And for our consultancy where we train people, and we do workshop, and we're always looking for sponsor for it. Even for the podcast, we're always looking for sponsors, shameless plug. People have come and say like, "Hey, I was able to learn this because I first heard you on, I don't know, Instagram, and then I listened to this podcast and it helped me." Or you, Manuela, told me, "Yo, why aren't you on YouTube?" Do you remember when you said that to me? You were like, "YouTube is the second or
Yeah.
the number one search engine. Why aren't you doing YouTube videos?" And I was like, "Oh, Manuela, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna start now that you said that." So I think that was 2 or 3 years ago because I think I was pregnant. Was I pregnant? Or was it before? Anyway, so long story short, so it has helped my career advancement. I feel like much more efficiently because now I've used leverage, because it's not just being about a podcast host, it's about staying learning. Like talking to you, I'm learning something. Talking to my guest. When I invite somebody on a podcast, I'm genuinely curious. Like I want to know like what you be doing behind closed door and in front of people, Like how are you learning? What can you come and teach us? Can you demystify? Can you debunk something that I thought was normal but should not be normal? And so the more you talk with people, the more you remember some of their saying, and the more you can use it into conversation. And then you become that person, that generalist of information gathering. But then when you are in front of somebody and you have a little piece of information that you can share with them, then you can say, I heard this on the podcast that Manuela had with I don't know, Angelina Inge, and this is what she said. And then people can go back to you or go back to that podcast and listen and continue learning. So I think it's super important for anyone to have a podcast. Everybody has a voice, everybody should have a podcast in my opinion. But the main thing is like, how are we making sure that at the end of the day is to learn and to help somebody learn, you know? So, so that's my biggest thing about the podcast. I don't I want to keep being more consistent though. I would say if you had to ask me what I should change, what can I change?
No, I agree. And I agree with a lot of the points that you mentioned. I think that, of course, like one part is like the guests and the part of like the natural environment of networking that it becomes like when doing a podcast because you're always trying to get people to come here. But also the other part is, yeah, like I like there's a lot of information. And of course, after this mini AI revolution, of course, information is more available than ever, but now it's like the part of curation of information because we're like constantly bombarded of like articles and like magazines and like especially about programmatic. I think like 5 or 6 years ago, it was really hard to get the information, but now
Right.
for me at
That's
least
true.
is more valuable to like get it from the perspective of a guest, and then also it sticks on my mind. Like I all the time when I'm interviewing people, I'm just like thinking and thinking and thinking like, oh my god, this is so interested, I could connect it with this strategy. Or like even if I think of a person or a colleague that I know, like, hey, you should really meet this person because I think you guys
Yeah.
do a lot of projects together. And I love that part. And I can definitely certify that this is something that you constantly do. Like, even when you said, like, hey, I had this guest, they work on the publisher side, like, do you know about this? Do you know about this technology? And I can definitely certify the part that you're constantly learning because I've had a lot of like 6 minute voice notes from you, like, hey.
Y'all, my people know I like a voice note, okay? I stay saying what's up because I don't know where the person is, what they're doing in their like in their life at this moment. And what I'm asking is never urgent. It's literally like light bulb. Let me transfer this light bulb into a message. And I ramble. I ramble. I ramble. I ramble specifically also with people that I feel comfortable with. So like at this point, me and Manuela were cousins. I don't know if you guys can see the resemblance. Like we're cousins. We're related at this point. And so whenever I'm on a WhatsApp message with Manuela, I'll be
I did meet your
vomiting.
cousin.
Yeah, I'm vomiting. I'm vomiting onto you. Did meet my cousin. Did you see? We're the same person. So like crazy that you met my twin cousin. I call her my twin cousin before you met me in real life. Like it's which is another fun fact, y'all, if you're listening. Me and Manuela haven't met it in person yet. I know. We haven't
It's
met it since.
devastating. I really hope we can make it this year. Like, to be fair, I never go to the US. I just started going again after like 10 years last year. So,
Yeah, but like in September, we're going to be meeting at Programmatic IO. I think we should do a Programmatic Digest event at Programmatic. I should pitch some sponsors right now about like a happy hour. Come meet the Programmatic Digest host and just enjoy this free drink on us, like something. I should do that. I should do that. I'm gonna talk to my company and see if they want to sponsor us. You talk to yours, I talk to mine, and let's just do something fun. You know, like something like a 1 hour one of those days because and it's I think the more I talk to somebody, the more I wanna meet them in person, but once you meet them in person, you can never forget about them, I feel. Like, I've met a lot of people in person from the being podcast, and even, like, I've met people in person after interviewing them, like, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and they're like, um, they do the "You are I do yes, I've interviewed you on my this is where we like, you get the, "Oh, yeah, And so I think it's really cool when this happened, and if they don't remember me at all or the podcast, I'd never take it wrong. There's a lot going on in people's lives. You can't remember everything. Mm-mm. Cannot remember. I'd never take it wrong way. You know what I mean?
no, no, same. It happens to me as well. It's like, especially because I feel like we've been so much on like Google Meet
Mhm.
for years now that it's like maybe like faces start looking the same. Or
Yeah,
maybe you're just like there, but your mind is somewhere else.
yeah,
So,
yeah. It's interesting. But yeah, I think it's a good segue into like our another question I had for you. And maybe we can wrap it up after that one because I think you and I can talk for hours. But like our biggest, the most fun things we've seen, obviously we just discussed about how impactful being podcast hosts have been in this industry, at least, right? Being ad tech, programmatic, pub side, buy side, it doesn't matter, sell side. But I think one of the things I still struggle with, and I hate to admit it out loud, because we consciously and intentionally have made so much effort, you and I, has been like having female guest speakers attend. And we're both in so many we're both in so many organizations that put female speakers in the forefront. But at the end of the day, if I'm really real, it's still hard for us to schedule, you know? And I'll use my example. I'm a mom of two. I'm a wife. I have a consultancy. I'm a salesperson in corporate world. You have a different story. You stay traveling all the time, which I want to be like you when I grow up. So like we'll put it on a schedule and then the kid will have the cooties and the next day I have the cooties and I don't have a voice and I can't have an interview. Or I forget I have an interview in 10 minutes and I don't have my face on. And I don't want y'all to look at me and see that in real life, I look the same with dark circle. I look like like a panda. It's okay. They're cute though, but I still look like a panda once in a while. And so there's so much scheduling. And then what do you think this is happening? Like, what's your POV on that?
Okay, this is a very like topic very close to my
Sensitive.
heart. It's very very close to my heart because I've always like the first time I did this, I remember when you invited me and you told me like, "Hey, I would love for you to come and start hosting some episodes." And I was like, "No, I cannot do that because I'm not an expert in programmatic." And you told me, I'm never gonna forget that. It's like you told me you are an expert in programmatic because you have experience in it. You have a lot of things to say. And even if you didn't have 10 years, 20 years of experience, if you only had 1 year of experience, you always have an important thing to say. And so
That's good.
one of the things that I've observed at least, and I've had these responses, like I have the proof that
That's
some
perfect.
women when yeah, when I invite them, they're like, "Oh, but is that I don't feel like I have anything to say."
Oh,
Oh, I don't think that it is important. Like, oh, I don't have that much experience on this topic.
oh,
And I read very recently something that it's also like psychological about like
mhm.
women, we sometimes tend to think twice more the things that we're gonna say because of society. It's been more. I'm not going to get into like patriarchal, uh,
Mhm.
the systematic patriarchal in that we live on, but it's really hard for us to convince us that we have a voice. And I think nowadays there's
Yep.
a lot of organizations and a lot of confidence and workshops that has made sure that we learn that, but we don't learn that necessarily since we're kids. We learn that afterwards. And
Mhm.
so I constantly see this pattern and I always want to like just like scream and tell everyone like, "Hey, you matter. You have to be here. I want to interview you because you're awesome." Um so it's one of the things that I really want to accomplish. I would love to have at least 50% of our guests being female, not
That is
because
such a good goal. That's such a good goal.
yeah,
'Cause I feel like we do good at focusing on the diverse, like the culturally, ethnically different guest line, right? Like, and y'all know I'm very transparent. So to be very transparent, we don't only interview white people. We don't. We don't. Not that we don't want to, we don't like them, we love them, we adore them, we welcome everyone on this platform, right? Because everybody has a voice. But I intentionally connect more on LinkedIn with somebody that look like you, sound like you, or me, or somebody in our circle, right? Because I want to uplift their voices. I want to let them know, just like what you said, like I don't matter how much years you have in this. I don't care about your job title. All I care is like one, are you hands on keys? Maybe for me, at least lately, whether you're agency side or not, like I want to learn about the challenge you faced this morning and how did you fix it? because somebody's facing it and they don't know how to fix it, and they don't have somebody that look like us to help them. And sometimes it's just that simple. I'm not going to call her out, but I had somebody in my community. She joined a few of our programs here and there, because sometimes I do 30-day coaching program, like you just buy in a couple $100 here and there. And then, but she's joined several of them. And the first time she joined, she told me, she sent me a testimonial. I'm trying to remember, but I can't remember. But I think it was a testimonial. She emailed me and she said, I am the only black girl at this company I'm working at. I'm Jamaican descent, and I'm sorry, I don't know if it's Jamaican actually. I'm gonna say her family was from the Caribbean island. Let me just say that just in case it's not Jamaica. And she said, "Thank you." She was like, "Nobody, it's thank you for just saying this. So just having this podcast, because I don't get to see that." And I guess on one of the podcasts that I had, she heard me say I was the only black girl for many agencies, or it was me and the another one. And she was like, "I'm literally the only black girl at this agency, and nobody understands, right?" And sometimes we joke differently. Manuela and I joke differently than when I would joke with somebody else, because we have cultural differences. We understand like certain things that had happened in our childhood that a different they cannot understand, right? Like we have similarities, but we also have differences that we get to celebrate. And so those emails is what get me going. Like I know you received those comments, those DMs on LinkedIn too, is that thank you for having it in Spanish. And maybe that's my promise to y'all listening, that we will have more multilingual podcasts happening on this platform, because we need to. My first language is French. I've never done one.
That's insane. That's insane.
That's
And
right.
and yeah, yeah, and I think one of the things, I was actually writing an interview for someone in ad tech
Yeah.
talking about LGBTQ plus representation.
That's another thing
And
too.
one of the things that I said is like, even though like this is, but because we have to agree, like this is a very open industry. I think there's a very tolerant, and they try to put minorities in a place, but like still representation matters, because a company can say like, okay, we are very open to minorities, we don't discriminate. Most of the job applications have that when you apply to a ad tech job, but when you go into the workplace, you don't see anyone, even in the leadership positions. And of course, it doesn't, it's not about like just because you're part of a minority you have to be in a leadership position, or you have to put people because of that. But it's really important for the rest of the people that are not part of it to see someone that looks like you, because that is the happiest thing that can happen, because it inspires everyone to
Yeah.
just like, you can make it, you can be part of that conversation.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so well said, because you're right. And I've been this person. I have been this person. Like just looking around, I'm like, okay, I will have my 9 to 5 voice in this meeting, because it's so different. But there's a lot of, I think as an industry, at least in my circle and my environment, I think we've progressed a little bit better. Even in on the podcasting, that the podcasts that are out there, right? And if you're not a podcast listener or a YouTube podcast watcher or listener, because sometimes I put on the Ad Tech God podcast on YouTube and I'll listen and do other stuff on my TV, right? Or my phone, listening to the YouTube video. If you're not, you should be. There are a lot of podcasts out there, and the best way for you to support them is to obviously listen to them, but also repost about something they said, whether it's good or bad. Like give them the ability to say, "Dang, somebody did listen to the podcast." And this is how it made them feel. Because at the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to. How did it make you feel? Is that something you can share with somebody else? Or is that something you can do in your day to day that's going to help to make this world a little bit better? And yes, we're working in advertising and whatnot, not saving lives, but sometimes we do save lives in some extent, right? Like, and maybe that's a question I want to ask you actually. One of my somebody had told me like, "Oh, we're not saving lives here," so like was just advertising. But one of the favorite campaign I've ever ran in my entire life, and I ran a lot. Mm, a whole lot, has been, it was pro bono, and it was when gas station, digital out of home on gas station became really sexy. But it was an organization, and I can't remember which one it was, but they were doing human trafficking survivors, or like they were just showing the people that we thought were kidnapped, or I'm sorry, kidnap is not the proper, abducted, and
Yep.
then they're showing the profile. Have you seen this person? They were last seen on that. And it ran on gas station, right? And also the agency I worked for that day, and I wish I remember the name so I can name drop and like give them their flowers. But it was nice. It made me feel better. And I was like, yeah, I'm over here just selling this and pushing advertising for this person to see this and click here. But our technology does do a lot of good, right? So like how is this making you feel? And I think after running this ad, I mean this campaign, managing it, I've never looked back on I looked at what I did as a different way, right? So like have you ever had this feeling, whether you heard it on a podcast, whether it was like in your day to day, where you were like, man, I think I'm in the right place up in here?
That's an interesting question. Well, I think I have all the opposite thoughts all the time. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
We will not edit anything out. I'm literally going to add caption on it, and then that's it. I'm gonna let it. And you know what? I'll have two captions added, one in Spanish and one in English. But it will be
I
AI
love that.
generated, so don't hate on me, okay? Just don't hate.
No, no, I love that. But then no, that's an interesting question. So I do see like that at least in advertising, at least I haven't had the opportunity um to see that those types of campaigns yet. I think like 10 years ago when I was doing media buying, I did a few campaigns for, I think it was Amnesty International. And I was like so happy because I did study, like, I don't know if you know this, but I study political science. And so I was really excited because I could connect one of my passions with my job right now.
Hey.
um, so that was really exciting. But I think like nowadays I haven't been able to see that. But I do have to say that one of the things that makes me choose this profession every day, and it's like the people I've worked with, I have to say, like even strangers are so incredibly nice. And I think like we joke about like, okay, we're not saving lives, but we take our job so seriously, like so serious. Like everyone
Yeah,
that works
sometimes it's
in
not bad.
programmatic, they're like we're like dramatic about stuff. And I think that makes up for a lot of things
Yeah.
because I've had more like good experiences than bad experiences. And that's why I always try to encourage people to like jump into this industry because there are a lot of like benefits and like nice things. And especially like what we spoke a minute ago, like being able to like dress however you want and that doesn't affect your job is something that we always sometimes forget because we've been here so long. But like there are people that cannot do that in other industries. So just being able to express yourself and people being like, yes, I love it, your colleagues being, I love it, your company saying like, oh, I love that for you, like, hey, like this is the Hispanic month, can we do an interview about you? It's like those
Yeah.
small details I
Yeah.
do love.
I like that perspective because you're right. Like it's just how can, and if this is not your calling, like you would know, right? Like, and I'm not saying that, oh, being in programmatic is my calling. No, my calling is, and I think God gives you a vision, gives you ideas that nobody else can hear for a reason. But being able to help inspire somebody, I feel like it's part of my calling, or part of the reason why God is like, here's why you're going to be super loud and bold in your life, is because other people needs to hear something that you have to say. And I don't call myself a preacher, a pastor, a coach, or whatever it is, but like I always say, like everybody has a voice and everybody can get inspired by anybody. Shit, my 3-year-old said something earlier, and I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Like anybody. So even if you're thinking yeah, Manuela, but that's not me. I don't know. I just want to go and paint houses. Then go and paint houses. It's okay. You know what I mean? It's like there's time and energy and season for everything. And despite where you are in your season and your time right now, like there's a way for you to, it's not too late to do that. And so I think it's super important. And I know for a fact there's always going to be more to talk about in this and on this subject because it's not talked about enough. And even if you that's all the only thing you're seeing on Instagram right now, some people are not saying that. Some people are saying the opposite. I was just joking. And I know I said I was not gonna talk about the World Cup, but how can you not talk about the World Cup? But I'm
This is where our friendship ends. Just BTW.
just so y'all know, we don't like each other because the World Cup. And Manuela is from Argentina. And I am from the west coast of Africa. Senegal is, y'all know, Senegal and Cape Verde are my countries. Obviously, my grandma is Lebanese and I claim my Lebanese side, but they were not in the World Cup. Senegal and Cape Verde were, and Argentina is still in the World Cup, so why not? But I was telling Manuela that the only thing I see on my feed is Messi being a bad human being because everybody is shitting and hating on Messi. And now I'm like feeling some type of way towards Messi because that's all I'm seeing on the World Cup feeds. But maybe it's time for me to clear my feed. So my example is clean your feed, clean your environment, change people, befriend other people like Manuela that are from Argentina so you can hear her perspective and know that actually Argentine people are super amazing. Like I want to go to Argentina to visit just because of Manuela. You know what I mean? And I don't say that lightly. I know I've been saying this for the last 4 years, but I've had children in the midst of those 4 years in Manuela, but now they're grown. So I mean, almost grown. So we can travel a little bit better. But I say that to say, get into environments that you can have those conversations and learn from those other people. You know, if you're going home and everybody looks like you and talk like you, maybe once a week go to a place where people are not like you. You know what I mean? It's being part of that. It's normalizing that you're you are not the standards, right? Like you are not the standards, but you can help people understand your value and what you can bring to the table. Which leads me to the last topic of this podcast, because I do want to honor your time, Manuela. You know, as much as I love to talk to you, where do you see this podcast go? Like, what would you love for? Like, it would be great if we can do this in the next year or so, or we're still looking to work on that. Like, what's your vision?
Amazing. So my vision for the podcast, I think eventually I would love for us to like definitely have more sponsors. I think that's important.
Yeah, good.
Um like I've never had like in at least for the Spanish part, like we've never had a sponsor, and that's like something that I would really love support on because there's a lot of work that it's being done here, like
Yeah.
behind the scenes. A lot of work. Like people don't understand how frustrating it was for me to learn how to use all those editing audio programs. I cried. I cried. But yeah, like I think that'll be like something positive, but not just because like sponsorship is important, but I think like having a company back you up, it feels more relevant, at least in the region. So I would love for that be like one of our aims. And then, as I mentioned before, I would really love to have like a at least like 50% of our guests to be female leaders in the industry that they can come and speak their ideas. I would love to have more diversity and like just have people come with like their different perspectives. And also like for people to get this as a place that we're all here to learn, and like luckily in this industry, like we are all constantly learning. Like I learn so much every day at my job, at
Yeah.
LinkedIn, just speaking with you, speaking with friends, colleagues. So I just want for this to like feel like a safe space for people to come and bring their ideas, and that people keep liking it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think one of my goals is to be more consistent. I feel like from 22 to 24, 25 even, we were pretty consistent with like posting weekly or following up with reels and social media promotional content. But I wanna highlight the sponsorship thing. Like if you guys are listening and you know a company that want to participate in our mission, we would love an introduction. Like straight up. Because that's also time that Manuela have to in the behind the scene that we do is like we gotta go and pitch those companies, send them our numbers, start the introduction. It's like it's still time that we have to put in it. But I just did some quick math. It's like when we were at our prime, when we were posting weekly, 3 to 4 posts a day, like about the podcast, and when we were close to even, I feel like it was even close to 3,000 or 4,000 downloads during that time, a month. It's because I had hired a social media team, a VA that we could afford, right? But it was all out of pocket for me. And so I think it was their pricing was between 500 USD to $700, 750 a month. So I just did the math, how much that is in a year. That's close to $9,000 a year, right? And I did that for about almost 3 years consistently every month. And that's $27,000 like out of our pocket that we have to invest in this. And that's not even adding the tools. Libsyn is like $20 a month. That's no big deal, but it's still adding up. And so I say that to say is like it's easy enough to have a podcast. It's important, and I'm still happy to invest this money, but it's like out of pocket. And so a year and a half ago, I was like, wait, I can't just do this anymore. I got to find a sponsor. But it didn't happen as easy as I thought. And so we had to pause here and there the VA. And now look, you and I don't have anybody to edit. We got to go back to editing. So this episode is going to be edited by me. So y'all don't come over here and tell me nothing about this editing. But I think it's really it's really important to say, right? So it's just $30,000 for the last 3 years or 4 years, whatnot. But it's still a lot out of pocket. But I will go back and do it because our community, we're here to serve them. We're here to help them. And some people have answered some of my questions on the podcast and DM me and say, can you talk about this next? Can you do about that? You should interview this. Like Carlos. Carlos has been one of the very first people in the community and the very first person on the podcast, Carlos Villanueva. Shout out to you. He's brought guests for me in the past, you know what I mean? And those guests have stayed big friends to me. So I say that to say it's been an incredible journey. This is not a goodbye or adieu. It's now we're
This is
full force into it.
we're back.
We're back for real life. We're going to, really make shit happen. And we want the community to participate as much. If you've been a listener of the podcast, you should be on the podcast by now. You should be a guest. Just come. Just come on. Okay? Come on. Whether it's English or Spanish or French. Just come.
100%. And we have a lot of things coming. I think for H2, like the most important thing is that we're back. We're looking for new guests. We're going to be at an event together in New York. So we'll give more details on what are we going to do and prepare for that. I'm trying to launch another community here in Latin America. So I'll be posting about that very soon.
Yes. I'm here for you, whatever you're doing. You have my love and support. I think it's so important. You're an incredible person. I'm never going to stop saying that to nobody. As a matter of fact, I do have somebody to introduce you to. Actually, I just talked to him on Monday. I forgot to tell you. But I am very grateful of our friendship and our partnership into this because there's been time where I was on my 6-minute voice note with Manuela telling her this is bullshit. I can't do it. And then she would just share something and she would share a picture from, I don't know, Guatemala, wherever you were that time, Mexico. And I would be like, oh, I guess there's silver lining where she is. So I guess there's more to go. There's still hope. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Manuela. I love you. I think you're incredible. And I cannot wait for the next 6 months for the podcast or continue seeing you thrive. You're dope, girl. You're dope.
Likewise, I feel like you're my cousin. Like you're part of my family.
Cousin.
And I love that for us. Like we're cousins.
Yeah.
And I love that for you. And I appreciate so much. Thank you so much for bringing me today.
Yeah.
I'm really excited, and we're we're on fire for Q3 and Q4.
Let's go. Let's go. All right, y'all. As always, thank you for tuning in. You know what to do. Share your thoughts. We want to hear from you. As always, it's free. We will not judge. I promise. We listen. We don't judge. And then we want to ask you for your help. Like subscribe on our YouTube channel. Follow us on our LinkedIn profiles, whether it's us professionally or just a podcast channel. And then Manuela and I are always looking for ideas. So if you have the craziest, the boldest, the loudest idea, just DM us. DM us. It's really easy to reach us. But as always, you're fantastic. We appreciate you. We love you. Stay curious.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.